Hey, buddy. Hey, y'all. Well, we made it halfway through the week. I got an alert this morning. I guess I pushed the envelope a little too far. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm out here in the start of the garden. This is Waylon's first journey out to the fresh dirt. I hope he don't have his compadre's habit over there. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Of digging up things, but there's enough ground out here. If they dig a little bit, it'll be all right. No, I guess I would say it's the chaos theory, but I'm going to go with the faith theory, whether it makes or not, because I think the good Lord's probably tired of hearing of me. I was so late on getting these potatoes in. I had it down to a science. I planned to plant them on the 24th of February because the moon was right. And here we are in middle of March and the moon ain't right and it's late. Good book says that the foolishness of God is still surpasses the wisdom of men. So he didn't really write about potatoes in there. So I'm gonna trust that these will come up whether they make or they don't. I spent more money for less before, so that's all right. No, he's probably tired of hearing me because every one I planted, all 200 of them here in this, about 220 in this 140 foot row, I said, bless this tater with every one of them. So he's tired of hearing tater prayers this evening. I'm sure he wants me to move on to something else, so I guess I will. Now, I got an alert this morning. First of all, thank all of y'all for following and sharing and liking and commenting. I read every one of them. May not be the same day because kind of get tuckered out, and when I'm having coffee in the morning, sometimes I'll go back and go through it. So if y'all are watching across the country, across the world, as some of you are, Australia and London, sound off, because I always enjoy reading it, even if it's after the fact. But some folks have asked how they can help and how they can support monetarily even more, and not really looking for that. It's gracious, and I appreciate it, but subscribing helps out. It's just $1 a month. I take that pretty seriously. I know it's not but $1, but it's a big deal to me. It kind of encourages me to do more content and keep pushing and spreading the good stuff that we need to see. Well, Facebook didn't like the good stuff, apparently. I think it was the title, in all fairness. And before we get on the bandwagon, Facebook is its own business. We're guests on here, or customers, if you would, and they can run their store like they want to, even if it's unfair in our eyes. But the other day, I shared a quick reel from a past walk and talk. It recounted the story of Corrie ten Boom on that train ride with her dad, asking about the meaning of sex sin. Well, old Facebook robots didn't like that, so they shut me down. I know y'all were seeing me, but I was wondering what was going on. I really wasn't getting any interactions, and I got an email from Facebook and then an alert from Facebook, and it was from them. I know the difference, but they said I had violated their content policies. Like, Lord have mercy, the stuff I see on Facebook, and here I am telling something truth. Anyway, we got all that straightened out, so I just have to watch my step. I said prayer in this. I hope that don't violate something. I'm really going to get them worked up here in a minute. Boy, I've got a horde around me, y'all. Oh, Waylon's just coming into his own. Him and Sissy have really bonded. Of course, they stay in the house, and she'll just lay on the floor. That's what a Pyrenees does. They're not real rambunctious, and I like that. But she just has her spot. And Waylon's still a puppy, and he's exploring and chewing, and he'll get a hold of her tail and chew on her tail and chew on her paw, and she'll kind of correct him a little bit. Before I know it, he's climbed up on her back and went sound asleep. So they're doing all right. I've got the little babies out here with the big goats. Every evening when I get home, now that we got a little bit more daylight, Mama's not nursing them. She's got her hands full with the other two, and that ship has sailed for her to nurse them. Here they come. I got to show y'all this. But they need to learn how to be a goat. So that's what we're doing. We're putting them out here. Here they come around the corner. So they're staying in the house with me. And of course I feed them in the morning and the evening. They're sassy and doing fine. They're doing what little goats do, and that's bouncing around, just full of energy. No, y'all aren't getting out. Now you got plenty of grass to eat. Done got spoiled. They want them pellets. They'll walk over. Look at all this green grass, y'all. And it's long too. No, they've been breaking out. I finally fixed it. I gotta love my neighbor, Francisco, over there. Good man. He helps me out over here with his tractor from time to time. But they worked him a little hole in this chicken wire. And I mean, as soon as they'd bust out, I'd get them back in. I'd get them in that gate and they'd go right back at it. And I didn't have the time at the moment to really get it shored up, so I did temporary fixes. Never held. But went over there, he's got some deer corn out there underneath his carport. And boy, they were working over that deer corn. Silly things. I mean, well, hang on. I'm all discombobulated here, y'all, on the camera. But look at all the green grass they passed up. I mean, just everywhere. But they going after that corn. Want something that wasn't here. But whatever. That's what goats do. When I was mowing the other day, y'all already know, I guess it's when I'm quiet. When I try to search out something to talk about or try to find a lesson, I come up blank most days. It's when I get quiet and just working. And it hit me yesterday as I was working over there underneath that old oak tree, that beautiful wisteria. Y'all see this, I appreciate y'all hanging with me here. I'm gonna get somewhere with this in a minute. Y'all see that old clump of grass there that I wasn't able to mow? Well, underneath that is an old rotten stump, and it's we burned on it, and it's not much left. It's just enough to clip a mower blade and mess that up pretty good. But when I moved back in here in 2018, now back when I was young, Mamaw had beautiful azaleas all down through here. And as a kid, I'd have to tote a garden hose all the way from up there. And of course, as a kid, everything's work. You can't do what you want to do. But I'd bring that old water hose down here in July and August when we was on summer break, and I'd water them old azaleas. I was hoping when I moved back in there might be a couple left there, all been gone. But I'll never forget, there's a big old tree right here, big old oak tree, huge, like some of the other ones on this place, probably 100 years old. And it gave me shade to water those azaleas. Well, over time, and the place went vacant, and just actually what killed it was wisteria. And it was beautiful to look at. It had taken over that oak tree. I mean, just all in it. And for about 2 weeks of the year, this place was fragrant, beautiful wisteria. And I got to thinking about that because I'm battling it over here. Now, my neighbor's got a bush over there that's in control, right? We get to look at it and smell it, but it ain't after to kill anything. But this little oak tree right here, let me turn the camera around. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. This little oak tree's done well. As you can see, there's some pretty little purple blooms up in it. And this thing at the bottom is just going crazy. Well, problem with that is, if I keep letting it go unchecked, as pretty as it is, it's gonna climb up through that old oak tree, as it has, and it'll strangle it and kill it. So for the want of a couple of weeks of pretty flowers, I'm giving up a whole summertime of shade and stability from an oak tree. And I thought funny how that is in my own life. Maybe y'all can relate. You gotta watch those things that smell good and are pretty. It's all right to have them around, but if you don't keep them in check, they're gonna go up and strangle the very foundation that is you and your faith. Because that old oak tree will get plenty of shade. Makes branches, and old birds nest in it, have new birds and pretty songs, and we get wrapped up in the beauty of a temporary flower. It ends up just taking over. How about y'all? Thought that was something to really ponder on. Maybe it missed y'all, but I thought about that. Might be just as something as getting on Facebook too much, or it's all right to do things and enjoy. Good book says moderation in all things, in a manner of speaking. But yeah, I thought that was all right. Some of y'all may have noticed, and if you're from the country or been around the country much, you'll already know why it's this way. Some of y'all might think it's a pretty little flower bed I saved of wildflowers there around that pine tree. But country folks probably be sounding off in the comments about right now about why that's that way. So I'm starting to mow out here in the pasture. And one thing you do not do in a big old pasture like this, especially with a bush hog, which I don't have, is get too close to the lone tree. Why is that? Anybody know? Some of you do. Because that's where you throw the wire that you find when you're walking. And the old shovel heads and the old boards and things with nails in it. It goes next to the big old tree so that it's out of the pasture for a clear shot at mowing. So if you've ever been called on to mow in a big old pasture, stay away from the big lone tree that might be standing in the middle of it. You're not doing any favors by getting close up to it. So as we get into summer, I'll get in there and make sure we don't have any lawnmower booger bears, and we'll get it mowed down. I'm going a different route on this old field this year. Got it planned out. Potatoes are going in first, even though they're late. And the Lord's tired of hearing me say, bless this tater. And I said it with all sincerity, even with the chuckle along the line, because I know he was up there chuckling too. I'm sure he was thinking, one prayer do it, Johnson. That's fine. I got other things to listen to besides bless this tater. But I was persistent. So if repetition's anything, then there we are. But we got the potatoes going in. I got one more row I'm going to do. I'm actually going to be later with those. I've got them. But I'm going to go ahead and see what the moon cycle does. And I'm going to wait for it. I wanted these in ahead of this rain tomorrow. But then I'm going to put some pinto beans in probably this weekend. And then we'll come on with the tomatoes and the regular summer crops. I don't think I'll plant before April 1st. I don't reckon we're going to have any more freezes, but just like it to be a little bit warmer at night. But y'all can watch the progress, whether it makes or it doesn't. This is how I'm going to do it. So you got to do what you got to do with limited tools. And I do not have a tractor. I've got the use of a tractor for tilling. I don't have a bush hog. This is a pretty good piece of property here. I do have a riding lawnmower that is my workhorse. And what I did, I've done it small, and then my cousin and I tilled up this whole pasture with not a stitch of weeds in it, and planted 4 times and didn't get a lick of anything because it washed on this little slope. Well, we got that fixed, but this year I'm doing less rows, not getting greedy, moderation, right? Doing less rows, and I've got the space for a truck to be able to drive up to it for harvest if we get there. You can see I'm starting to mow it. But this grass and these weeds will hold this soil in between the rows. I'm not planting anything in here. Ain't no sense in trying to keep it weed free, right? I want it wide enough to where I can keep it mowed, and I can take care of the weeds in the rows where the plants are. So that's what I'm doing, whether it works or not. But that's all I can do. I don't have a big tractor to run up in between the rows and keep it free of weeds and all that. So I'll just keep it mowed and manicured. Y'all hear them goats. Boylan, go do something about them goats. They just want some feed. Let me ease over here. Those other 2 that I left out with Mama are doing good. Of course, they're twice as big. I see them over here by the fence. A little caramel colored and white, and then the other one's black and white. Maybe they won't run off when we go over here. Sorry, I'm running a little long tonight. Let's see here. Come on, turn around, camera. There we go. There they are. There's the other 2 little ones in the feed trough. Them other 2 getting around, ain't they? See how much smaller they are? I mean, night and day. They'll be in the house with me probably another 3 or 4 weeks. There ain't nothing like going in there in the evening. I put them back in their little area, and I head to the kitchen to get their milk mixed up. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the cutest thing. I'm in the kitchen at the sink getting everything done, and here I hear a little patter of little bitty whoos coming down the wooden floor. bloop, 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 looking for milk. Oh man, they know I'm the milkman, so they don't let me get too far out of sight when we're in there. That's all right. You know, focusing on the little things are good. Sometimes you gotta look at the big picture too. Old boy worked at a sawmill of all places, and had a lot of folks working there. And they all had to pass through security every evening because they all had tools and things. It had a little theft problem over time, so they had security folks kind of keeping everybody honest, I guess. Well, the old boy was leaving one evening. He had a wheelbarrow full of sawdust in a box, a little box full of sawdust. He was heading through the security checkpoint, and the guard stopped and said, "Hey, where are you going with that?" He said, "Oh, it's just old sawdust that supervisor said I could have. It ain't no count." He said, "That's what's in the box?" "That's all that's in the box." He said, "Yep, that's it. You can look at it." So the security guard took and opened the box up, dumped it out in the wheelbarrow there, and sorted through it. And it, sure enough, just old crummy sawdust. He said, "All right, I don't know what you want it for, but go ahead on." Well, this went on for a week and a half every night, coming out with that wheelbarrow and a little box of sawdust. The guard kept checking him every time. Well, finally, about a week and a half later, the guard said, "I got to know. I've just got a feeling you are stealing something." He said, "What is going on, and what are you doing?" He said, "You come out of here every night with a wheelbarrow and sawdust, a box full of sawdust. I won't say anything. I just want to know, what are you stealing?" The old boy stopped me and said, "Well, I'll tell you, wheelbarrows." Going right by him. He was focused on the box. Let me do a roll call and get off here this evening. Let's see, let me go this way. See all the comments. Let's see. Let me go back. All right, there's Aaron in Wills Point. Kenneth says he wish he had goats. Okay. There's good days and there's bad days. The bad days is when they're in your neighbor's corn and you're stressing about it all day till they get out again. Hey, Heidi, how are you? Yeah, they're cute, all right. There's Gina checking in. Good evening. We had goats for several years. They could be aggravating. It's all get out, but they are hilarious at the same time, missing sometimes. Yeah, they truly are. They got a mind of their own for sure. You can lead a herd of sheep, but you can't lead goats. You got to drive goats. They do not lead, but you can chase them where you need to go. But that's about all you're going to do with them. Gina says, wisteria is as bad as kudzu and poison ivy. Boy, you said something there. Whew, I know that kudzu really hadn't hit East Texas as bad as some of the southern states along the I-10 corridor and all that, and I-20, but man, that stuff is a mess. It don't even smell good, I don't think. At least wisteria smells good for a little while. North Mississippi is checking in with Steve. Kenneth saying again, we did that, wire boards with nails and stuff. Yep, that's right. Brian and Deb Long's up in southern Illinois. How are y'all doing? And let's see, we got Charlotte. There you are. Tennessee, yes ma'am. There's Indiana coming in with Mary. How are you? Barbara's up in Midlothian, Texas. And let's see, Glenda is in Eclectic, Alabama. I'm just going to leave that alone. I guess y'all got all kinds of things to do in Eclectic, Alabama. like everything, right? There's Alexis. Hey, how are you? Good to see you checking in. But y'all study on that a little bit, right? I know I have all day thinking about the pretty flowers on the vine in your life that maybe we keep unchecked sometimes. Sure don't want to kill the faith of the oak tree. A little temporary beauty for long-term shade and comfort when things get tough and hot, right? But I got that one in check anyway. Them old purple flowers hanging up high, they'll be brown pretty quick because they don't have no life support at the bottom anymore. I'm not going to try to fool with pulling them out of there because they are entwined.